Defenders, listen up. I'm issuing an immediate Code Ninja security advisory right now. We are actively tracking a critical intelligence drop regarding the DTrace root parser vulnerability, which is officially designated as CVE-2026-21996. Now, our objective with this explainer is crystal clear. We need to drag this threat completely out into the open, force a vendor patch, and immediately protect our perimeters. Look, when a primary kernel tracing tool turns into a massive structural risk, we absolutely do not sit around quietly in the dark. We analyze the threat, we disclose the details, and we secure our infrastructure.
Okay, let's quickly run through our itinerary for this explainer. 1. The zero-day disclosure. 2. Early warning comms check. 3. Anatomy of the exploit. 4. Assessing the blast radius. 5. The protocol and patch. And finally, 6. The code and sign-off.
All right, kicking things off with Phase 1, the zero-day disclosure, breaking the tracing capabilities.
So, what are we actually dealing with here? With CVE 2026-21996, the harsh reality is that while DTrace is an absolutely essential kernel tracing tool, its userspace component actually runs as root. And worse, it willingly parses ELF files supplied by completely unprivileged target processes. Because of this fatal flaw, an unprivileged local attacker can just craft a malicious ELF binary and reliably trigger a denial of service condition. By doing that, they literally take down our primary tracing utility, completely blinding our debugging capabilities at the exact moment we're probably going to need them most.
Now, you've got to see how chaotic the timeline for this coordinated disclosure actually was. On May 1st, vulnerability scanners like Nessus hit the ground running, pushing out early detection signatures. Meanwhile, on that exact same day, Oracle submitted the bug with a highly questionable low severity rating. I mean, come on. So by May 5th, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, literally had to step in, analyze the actual threat, and decisively overrule the vendor to upgrade the severity.
Moving right along to Phase 2. Early warning, comms check, synchronizing defenders.
Listen, consider this a strict security necessity. If you want to actually maintain your perimeter, you need real-time intelligence. So subscribe to @CyberTech79 right now and enable those notifications. This is exactly how we push our early warnings to you, and it's how you stay ahead of the exploitation curve instead of playing catch-up.
Before we dive deeper, I need a formal acknowledgement of receipt for this intel. Hit the like button to ACK this briefing. Then, do me a favor and drop your current infrastructure status in the comments below. Are you patched or are you vulnerable? We really rely on this kind of census data to accurately gauge the community's exposure and map out the true blast radius.
All right, Phase 3, anatomy of the exploit, slicing through the code.
Let's look under the hood. Notice the exact mechanism of failure we're dealing with. The underlying vulnerability is officially classified as a CVE-2026-21996, which is an integer divide by zero error. Specifically, this massive failure happens right inside the pbuild_file_symtab function within the DTrace source code. When DTrace tries to parse the symbol table of a maliciously crafted, unprivileged ELF binary, this divide by zero triggers an immediate, completely deterministic crash of the entire root-level process. Just like that, it's gone.
And honestly, this brilliantly highlights the ongoing friction between vendors and the broader security community. Oracle's initial submissions severely underestimated this threat. They slapped it with a CVSS score of just 3.3, basically claiming the availability impact was low. But NIST recognized reality. Crashing a root-level system utility used for diagnostic tracing is a massive disruption. So NIST intervened, elevated the availability impact to high, and locked in the CVSS base score at a 5.5 medium severity.
Okay, Phase 4. Assessing the blast radius. Who is exposed? Looking at the explicitly affected configurations, Oracle Linux versions 8, 9, and 10 are absolutely confirmed vulnerable to this denial of service vector right now. But the ecosystem impact definitely spreads further than that. If you check downstream security trackers, Debian's unstable side package is currently listed as undetermined, while Ubuntu's 26.04 LTS Resolute release still needs valuation. So if you're running any of these distributions, you're living right into threat zone, basically just waiting for patches that might not even be coming today.
I really want to call your attention to this exact number, 31229. That is the critical Nessus plugin ID that Tenable pushed out back on May 5th. This specific plugin isn't just your standard vulnerability check. It is explicitly designed to flag Linux and Unix hosts where a vulnerable package is installed, but the vendor has intentionally indicated that they will not supply a patch. This is exactly how you hunt down those unmitigated risks lurking in your environment.
Phase 5, the protocol and patch, securing the perimeter.
So, here is the current threat intelligence status straight from the field. As of right now, there is no evidence of a public proof of concept, and thankfully, we aren't seeing any active exploitation out in the wild. But do not get comfortable. The mechanics of this exploit are incredibly well understood by the community. Weaponization isn't just a possibility here, it is an active countdown. All right, this is the crucial part. Here is your defensive mitigation hierarchy. Step 1. Immediately prioritize patching DTrace to the absolute latest version that addresses this flaw. Step 2. If your vendor is delaying that patch, you have to implement workarounds by restricting DTrace functionality strictly to trusted administrative users. And Step 3. Aggressively monitor your system logs for any unexpected DTrace process crashes. That crash is going to be your primary indicator of a local exploitation attempt.
Finally, Phase 6, the code and sign-off, ethical disclosure.
Users need to know to protect their systems. Exposing the perimeter is the only way to secure it. Look, we firmly believe that bringing vulnerabilities exactly like this one completely out of the shadows is what forces vendors to actually act, and it's what empowers defenders to patch. You have your briefing now, and you have your protocol. It's time to execute it.
I'll leave you with this final, critical question. An attacker dropping your root-level DTrace creates a massive telemetry blind spot. The very tools you rely on to find them will be the exact tools they break first. Will you catch that crash in your logs before they manage to establish a solid foothold? Review your systems, double-check your alerts, and I will see you in the next advisory. Stay secure.